I have 4 shades of the new Merit Solo Sheen Shadows. I have been testing them for weeks, and I want to share 5 things that I think are going to help you figure out whether or not these are for you. I'm also going to give you alternatives that I would like instead, talk about wear tests. This is in depth, but it's going to be pretty quick. So let's dive into it. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Britt. I've tested thousands of products over the past almost 9 years now, and you can see everything that I talk about back on the site. I'm going to mention something called the scorecard. It is the backbone of everything that I review. It keeps this relatively objective. So I look at ingredients. I'm not going to do a major deep dive here. I have shades Sartorial, Iris, Matchbook, and Glacé. There are a lot of silicones in this formula, not necessarily a bad thing. It is in plastic. They don't put a ton of information. They do the buzzwords like eco-friendly or sustainable or eco-conscious, but there's no actual data on their product pages. You have to kind of dig through their FAQ for that. They don't get points there. Ingredients, they are fully transparent about. That's what I'm into. So you can see more information back on the scorecard. We're going to dive into application next, full demo of all the shades. And then I'm going to do that while I'm talking to you here. There were a couple of things that did end up surprising me. First off, I never say this, I actually really liked the brand's brush. I tried fingers. You can do fingers. I liked their brush for a stronger payoff. Fingers are great for a wash. I removed that was Matchbook that was just on my eyes. So I'm going to just prep it with a clean slate. You can use any concealer. I happen to have the Sarah Krill concealer. I'm going to do a quick kind of look at that. Whoa, what's that? So I just want to give you a blank canvas. You can see the payoff. I'm going to use Iris. Very easy to apply with your finger. Even better with the brush. The finger is going to give you that wash. Talks about a sheer kind of wash shade. This is the Iris. And I'm just pressing it into the lid like you would in a rush. No big deal. Real quick, if you're finding this helpful and you want to keep seeing more honest reviews, because there's not a ton of them out there anymore, then take 2 seconds, hit the like button. Makes a huge difference over here. Okay, back into it. I have their match shades in Studio and Vachetta. I like Vachetta more than I like Studio. I just do. I don't know what that's about. Oftentimes with these formulas, if I push too hard on the formula in the pot, then it starts to pill. That is not happening. I'm just swirling this side of the brush. There are 2 sides of the brush. This is the finer point. And then I wouldn't use this for all over. It would take me forever, and I just simply do not have the patience for that. So this is more for like the crease if you want to build a bit. If you want to build a bear. Just kidding. Does that even exist still? I digress. The iris is going to start showing up more and more. It builds very easily, and I think it blends very easily. I think it's following through on the claims. This is not an opaque shimmer. I'm going to talk about one of my other favorites that I like that has more opacity to it, but you do not see glitter flecks. I'm getting ahead of myself. Give it a 4 out of 5. I think it might be deserving of a 5 out of 5. It's really great for under the eye if you want to smoke it out a little bit. And something to note here is this area for me, sometimes it can be very tricky. If you have mature skin, crepier skin under here, it can get into lines. It can kind of flake around or just go down the face. That did not happen. And that's another reason why I really like this brush. By the way, the brand is not paying me to say any of this. This is just my honest review. They did send me these products. I was under zero obligation to review them here, but I look for transparency from brands, so I'm going to give you the same thing over here. Payoff. So the claim is that this provides a sheer wash, shiny pearlescent color. I mean, it's hitting the nail on the head there as far as I'm concerned with the brush. And I think with the brush, you're getting a little bit more than sheer. And with specific colors, you get a little bit more than sheer too. This is the same for the mattes. So I'm going to take Vachetta and put that on the other eye so you can see them side by side. See how this has a little bit of texture? I wasn't using their brush. Now I'm going to be using their brush. Makes life a little bit easier, which again, I never say. Sort of a warmer color, and then I would just keep building and building and building. But I really like the Vachetta shade, and 9 times out of 10, I will be using my finger to apply. Quick and easy situation. Really hard to mess up, in my opinion. Here's the one thing about the shades for the sheens. It's a lot of sh. Iris, Sartorial, Matchbook. Iris is a little bit different because it's cooler. It has more of a purple or violet hue to it. The sartorial and matchbook are very similar, and they all sort of started to give off a very similar vibe. They have a lot of, I can't even say they're neutrals, right? But do you see what I mean when you line the shades up together online? They're not super distinct until you get to the glacé, which I think can be used best layered as a base underneath of other shadow, or maybe to add dimension on top of a matte shadow. It could be a powder shadow or otherwise. The Iris, Matchbook, and Sartorial, I can see a difference. You can probably see a difference. They certainly look different in the pot, but when you apply them on the face, they all sort of start to look very similar. I found it to be that way. You tell me if I'm losing my mind there, because it's very possible at this point. Overall, for payoff, I think it followed through on the claim. I gave it a 3 out of 5. Again, I'm kind of questioning that. It might need a 4 out of 5, but I'm going to stay with 3 out of 5 for now. Yeah. The finish is one of the standout qualities. I'm just kind of putting this stuff away, but the finish is 5 out of 5. I will not bury the lead there. It is supposed to give a smooth finish. It gives a highly smooth finish. One of the main questions is going to be, does it crease at the end of the day? I'm going to get to that in a second. When I was using it under the eye as well, that was another very impressive finish for me. Not glittery, like I said. It's not kind of gathering. It really stays smooth. So if you're younger and you don't have to worry about crepiness, great. If you're older and you are worried about that, this could be a lovely thing to use if you want sort of a smoky liner or something like that, but you don't want a severe line. I find that like the severe line can be a little jarring. I just like to soften a little bit more, and that could just be my preference. Depends on what you like. But it did stand out for me, so it won me over on finish. And the wear test, did it fade? Did it crease? Let's talk about it. I'm also going to talk about, if you know, you know. If you're a subscriber, thank you. This is the RMS. This is their highlights. This is not their matte highlights. I do not like those. Those did not perform well for me. I'm not saying they're a bad product necessarily, but I don't think they're that great. Certainly don't stand up to this. So these shimmers have a stronger opacity, very distinct colors. They're not sort of merging into sort of one neutral shade. As for the wear test on the Merit, I look kind of crazy because I have all these things going on. It did not crease for me at all. I'm going to show you the 8-hour wear test in the demo. I always use my fingers for these, by the way. These are also incredibly hard to mess up. But anyway, so the Merit did not crease. It performed so well on that front. I didn't see any creasing. I don't have oily lids per se. So those of you with oily lids, if you've tried it and you've seen a lot of creasing, let me know. Put it in the comments below because I haven't seen it. I'm just one person, so I like to have other opinions over here. And then in terms of the shade and whether or not the pigment lasted throughout the day, that's where it lost me a little bit. I would have given it a 5 out of 5, but it did fade a little bit. It depends on the shade that you get. So keep that in mind. That is shade Strobe from RMS, and it is just like a foil. It just really has a kick to it, and I've always loved it. So I still like the shimmers from Merit, but if I'm going to compare it to anything for a shimmer that's creamy, this is going to be one of them. There's more, but this is one of my all-time faves. Total score for Merit was a 16 out of 20. The final verdict question for me is, when I finish these, will I buy more? I'm on the fence only because I haven't found my favorite color yet. I'm leaning towards Matchbook. That seems to be the one that I'm reaching for the most. Is it something that I will miss if I do not have? Will I want to try more? I don't have that feeling right now. When I think about the solo shade in matte, I want to keep trying more of those. Now I panned the mattes at first, like I mentioned, so this could totally shift down the line. I don't know what it is yet. That's the honest truth. Strong performer, I'm not sure I would want to buy it again, but I also feel like I might just love their mats more. If you've given these a try, let us know in the comments what you think about them. Are you going to buy them? Are you not going to buy them? Have you already bought them? I want to know. Share. And I will give you links to all of the alternatives that I mentioned. They're also going to be in the scorecard post at the bottom of the post under you may also like. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button. It takes 2 seconds. It really does make a huge difference. So thank you for that. And I will see you right back here real soon. Until then,